Hey everyone, so new Garf is out and we're going to talk a little bit about him and his memory and his banner, and if you should summon right away. If you have Frederica and probably any of the other mono green units, it's probably a must summon because this guy works really well with Fred, and those two like combination are just really strong overall. I think the green team has insane synergy, especially with Priscilla and Mimi on the team, and then Teresia as well. Like those three have some great synergy, as well as these two. They could be probably the best 5-man team. I mean, synergy wise, but then there's Mono Red that is just literally strong unit after strong unit. It's like unstoppable. But like if you were to, I don't know, just say like who works the best, I think the 5-man team of all mono green is probably the best. So there's where I stand on if you should summon. If you have majority of the green units that have been in the mono scene, then probably. Otherwise, probably not, because he doesn't really do too much for other greens. I think I only took a look at his stuff for once, but we'll dive more into it. First, we have the step up. Same thing as always: 50 free fragments, 1/2 off, bonus rates at the end, as well as a guaranteed memory. And yeah, every time you should summon, if the banner has a step up banner version, you should probably always do that first. And then we're going to be opening the Discord because we have translations here. First, we have his leader skill, which is going to be 35% defense, nothing too crazy. This is green allies only. Basic, physically attacks a single enemy with 600% power, recovers 50% of damage done as HP, and has 100% chance to increase enemies' cooldowns by 1 turn. Really strong for himself because he recovers 50% of the damage over time, or damage done as HP, so that's really cool. It's not going to be too crazy because it is just only a basic, but 50% is a solid number, and the cooldown reduction is really nice. Skill 1, we have at the start of the battle, give self patience for 3 turns. I believe this is the first person to get patience since Adult Felix. I could be wrong. Either way, it's pretty rare, where you apply this buff to yourself. Basically, every piece of damage you take, you're able to deal right back. I don't know the exact percentages. I don't know if it's 100% damage that you take, you can deal back. But yeah, after taking so many hits for 3 turns, the next attack that you deal is going to have all of that, basically all of that damage in that attack. Unless, like, obviously, if you don't have your cooldowns up, you're probably just going to hit it with basics. So you'll be losing some of that attack power if you use your basics or anything. But you can't just not have a turn. So it is what it is. When damage, counterattack with 300% power of basic skill. That's pretty neat. I don't know if patience applies to counters. We'll have to see how that works. Then when your HP is 20% or more, basically you just can't get one shot, so that's pretty nice. That's really solid. Then we have the skill 2, physically attacks single enemies 1000% power twice, so just 2 hits basically. Has 100% chance to increase the enemy's cooldowns by 1 turn, really good. And to inflict curse and silence for 2 turns. Silence, I believe, is the one where you can't receive buffs. And then curse is obviously, you can't get rid of your debuffs. I think that's what it was. It's been a while, but basically you just have to write out the turns, and you can't use any ability to get rid of it, so that's really annoying. Give self patience. Again, patience is the one used in the skill 1. Yeah, passive. Passive. There you go. Okay, so you get to start a battle for 3 turns, and then you can proc it whenever you want with your skill 2. Interesting. And then for 3 turns as well as protection, so you can't lose your buffs. If your defense is 3000 or more during battle, penetrate through invincibility. That's pretty nice. Especially because he's a defensive unit, so having the defense rather than attack be high is pretty nice. Then bonus skills: 10% debuff chance, 20%, 50% defense. This is wild. This guy's strong. Wow. Okay. Yeah, he works really well with Fred. Her, obviously, if you're above a certain amount of defense, she can give you shield, then as well as like other stuff, and just like her permanent buff to stats for green units as well, that being HP and defense. Like, they work really well. This guy's gonna be a really solid tank. We don't have stats, do we? Let me switch back over. We can check out stats. I want to see what his stats look like. Yeah, so his attack's actually pretty solid. His defense obviously is going to be a monster because he's got a 50% buff to it. Standard, 51, 20, 30, 35. His HP is okay, but it doesn't really need to be too high because you're going to be running him with Fred, so that will increase, as well as him healing constantly with his basic as well as Fred's. I don't know what skill she has, but she can. Oh no, I think it's passive where everyone that's a green unit on the team gets hit, you can cover 10% max HP. That's really solid. But then again, the defense is just insane. Obviously, Ryan can counter this though, because defense, he doesn't care about it. So be aware of those. We're gonna take a look at his memory. His memory is gonna be. These are rough translations because Rep didn't translate these, so I had to use Google Translate, and one of them is really weird. First off, we have 30% defense. If you're, I believe this is demi-human. I could be wrong. It says that gene. I'm too lazy to look it up. Then this one is debuff resistance for the first 2 turns of battle, so that's really nice. Then this is 100% chance of weakening whenever someone hits you. I don't know what that means. It might be damage over time. It might be debuff resistance down. I don't know what weakening means exactly. I feel like I should know, but I don't. So his memory is pretty solid. His memory is gonna be a RAM, because of course it is. Weirdly enough, from the OVA, so that's pretty odd. And yeah, so we have a total of, I would assume, 11 days. Yeah, 11 days, because everything lines up. And then next time in a different video, we'll be covering this banner right here. Short story though, don't summon. It's nowhere near worth it. No matter how much you like these units, if I didn't have this Elsa, me being an Elsa simp, I don't know if I'd even summon here. Like, it's such bad value. They are bonus units, but it is just not worth. And then as well, as you can see, you have multiple rotations that you can do. So I'm assuming you do all 3,000, you're confirmed one of the 3, and if you don't get the one you want, just keep going. Terrible banner. I would imagine that these maybe get Transcendence in the future and people want to stock up, like if they're whales. That's like the only value I see in summoning here. Like, I don't have this will, and he's pretty useful, but again, different video. Either way. Also, we don't have tickets for this guy. We have a subjugation event, but we have tickets for the step up banner with Will, Elsa, and Ryan that we were just looking at. Kind of yikes. This is probably one of the worst subjugation events in a long time, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So yeah, short story, he's really solid. He's a great addition to the mono green, but I don't know how I see him working all too well by himself. He has some insane defense, but I do think he needs a little bit of support. He's nothing too crazy, like he can carry an entire team, but he's a very, very solid addition to it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.